Okay, so we're going to be changing oil in F650GS. We've got dipstick here. This is where we're going to be measuring it. We've got our drain plug at the bottom and a filter in the front here. Now, the engine's pretty warm still because I've just ridden it. If it's cold, then you just want to idle it until the fan starts, and you can switch it off then and drain the oil. We're also going to be changing the air filter, which is actually underneath here, and a couple of spark plugs, which we'll need to take off pretty much the entire top here to get to. Okay, I've removed the belly. It was 4 nuts here for those bolts, and then 1 going across. I'm going to now loosen up the filter a little bit, and then I'll go on to the sun plug. I have warmed up the engine, and I'm about to let go of the oil now that it's nice and warm, quite liquid. That's why you warm it up. So while that will be dripping, I'll also loosen up the filter, and then while that's all happening, I will be taking off all the plastic covers. So I'll start with those 4 Torx bolts on top. There is a 2 on each side there. We'll need to take the front fender. We'll need to take the visor there off. We'll need to take the indicators off. And pretty much the everything that you see here that's blue, I'll need to take off in order to get into the air filter. That's nicely draining there. And I'll quickly loosen up the filter. I bought this little wrench for the filter to make it easier, because I did not want to touch the hot pipe. So we'll see how that goes. It's actually, so far, it's been the best thing that I purchased, is this wrench here, because as you can see here, very easy to loosen it without actually touching any part of the engine, and therefore the risk of actually getting burnt or anything is super low. It's not dripping just yet. There we go. It's starting to drip now. It's quite hot. I'll let it drip for a while I do all the body work up on top. Okay, so I've unscrewed the top cover here. You can see it's connected here. This is the auxiliary port for the DIMM plug. So this one here, you actually will see, I don't know if you can see, but there is a little clip there. You press it, you pull it, and it will come off, and then it will carry on and start working to get the rest of the plastics off. Okay, so I've taken the guard. To get to the guard, you've got to go underneath the guard, and there are 4 bolts to be removed. Just take a note that they are the long bolts, because a couple of the front ones, like those ones here, were actually shorter compared to the other ones. And just be careful, as it has happened before to me, is that when you unscrew this one, that the bolt doesn't kind of just drop somewhere into the abyss, because you're going to have a great time then trying to find it somewhere. So I'll just continue with the body work while the oil, now you can see it's dripping. It's all almost ready to now be filled. Okay, so I've got this bolt here. Had to disconnect the screen. You can see I kept indicator, but I will need to disconnect it there from the actual lead. Then underneath here there was one bolt as well that I had to remove, and then it's pretty much came all loose now, ready to be taken off. You can see the only thing that's holding it back is actually that connection there, which I'll disconnect now, and I'll be able to access now the cooling reservoir, and then shortly the gearbox and all that, and I'll do the same on the other side. Okay, I've got all the bodywork off. Looks like to get to the to replace spark plugs, we'll have to remove pretty much all of this stuff in order to get there. Looks like it'll be a bit of a mission. Looks like I might need to disconnect the battery, then remove the air inlets. I assume the air filter will be somewhere underneath here, underneath this box. Yeah, so I'll get to it. So after removing 4 bolts there, 1, 2, 3, 4, managed to remove the top. Here's my air filter, which had a whole heap of leaves and everything in it, heaps of dust. You can see that I've been going on some pretty rough places there. The next thing I'll go for is the battery. You can see that I've started to loosen up a little bit. Just carefully, just so I don't cause any shorts or anything. And we'll keep going with that. Seems like so it seems like the last thing that's really holding the box together is actually this so it's here, and then I will need to kind of get that loosened up, and then I should be able to take this whole thing off. Alright, so I managed to get it all off. So this was the last bit I was holding it, and I also found there was 2 extra looks like some sort of vacuum or something that was connected to the box. One of them looks a bit iffy. I might need to shorten it perhaps for the time being. I'm going to put the cloth here just to I don't get any crap in the throttle bodies, just a clean cloth, and then I might give the whole area a bit of a wipe down before I continue working on getting the spark plugs replaced. Okay, so I disconnected each of the coils and I pulled up each of those, and pretty much now I can replace the spark plugs. I recommend getting a special tool to actually lift them up, otherwise you'll struggle like me. Okay, so I've replaced pretty much both spark plugs. Now you can see those ones here not looking too good. Talking to the camera, yeah, they're looking pretty bad. I gave the cool box a good clean, just made sure I didn't do anything with the there's a airflow sensor. They're normally quite sensitive, but everything else is nicely cleaned, and I use like a UV plastic protector. Keep it tidy, and then I'm just going to reassemble it, starting with the 2 vacuum hoses, and then the one there, which I guess is a breather pipe. Okay, so I've got pretty much the airbox all connected, new filter, connected the battery, the dash was all working fine. The only trouble I had is obviously the pipe underneath, to get that clipped in first, and then I actually placed the airbox how it should be. However, I had to undo those on both sides, just 1 screw each, and then it pulls out this way, to get the vacuum hose connected back into the box. So pretty much that's I've got more or less everything here sorted. I'm gonna do the oil now. So you can see here I've drained the oil filter there. I'm gonna give that area a nice clean. I'm gonna grab the new filter. I'm gonna just get the seal, so you can see the seal is actually on this here, the rubber seal. I'm gonna put a bit of oil on it to make sure it's nicely lubricated before I screw in the new filter by hand. I'm not gonna over tighten it, so it's screw it in by hand. Make sure it's nice and screwed in there. You don't need to use the wrench. Then I'm going to put the plug back in. Then I'm going to top it up. According to the manual, it's about 3 liters, so I'm going to put in 2.5, maybe 2, 2.6, 2.7, something like that. Start the bike, get the engine going, turning for a little bit. Make sure everything is running, making sure it's all not misfiring or anything. And this bike is a bit annoying because to get back to the spark plugs, you have to do the whole box again, and it's a bit of a mission. So hopefully it's all fine. It's all firing up all well. I'm gonna switch it off, check the dipstick, make sure it's all within levels. If it's too low, which probably will be, I'll just slightly top it up. If it's hopefully just right, I'll leave it as is, and then I'm just going to reassemble the bodywork, which is exactly the same what we've done, but backwards, and then just the belly protection there back in, and then I'll wrap up this major service. Alright, here is the finished product. Got everything assembled and cleaned up all the plastics wherever I could. Now I know why they call it major. Talked literally 4 hours.